The morning briefing live this morning from Ensenada, Baja California, Norte, Mexico. It's really great to be with you all. We're having really a fabulous time down here in Ensenada. I'm going to get into all the latest fishing, and there's some really good stuff. But I do want to mention that tonight, around 7, you never know when you go fishing with Paulina how late you might fish. But tonight, around 7, Paulina and I will be live again to talk about our day out on the water. Of course, Mackie's going fishing with us. The times that we brought Mackie with us surf fishing, he's the guy that caught the fish. So thank God we have somebody along that can fish. And I think I'm actually going to try to fish a little bit. We'll see. I do want to get some video. I want to make sure we get some great stuff of Foca, our captain. And who knows what we'll dig up out there. I was talking to Foca last night, and he was saying there's a little bit of white sea bass around. There's been some yellows, calico bass, sand bass, barracuda. So hopefully we'll get into something. We're planning on leaving here around 2 and then back in around 6, 6:30, set up for the live show. And then I am supposed to, I don't know what I got myself into here, but I'm supposed to cook tonight for everybody. We'll have a little fiesta, and we'll include you all in that. That should be great. So I'm probably going to go down to the Mercado Negro, the black market it's called here, the fish market in Ensenada, which is right on the Malecon. And we were looking at the shrimp down there, and it looked so good. So, a little shrimp al mojo de ajo, just, covered with garlic. Maybe I'll blend it into some rice and make arroz con camarones, rice and shrimp. I haven't made up my mind. That I will take on in a little bit. Hey, if you don't mind, hit that like button. We really appreciate it when you do that. Also, if you would share these videos with a friend, that's fantastic. And if you subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel, that's deeply appreciated. Tick the little bell. You'll be notified when there's new content. And we've got a lot of content on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and of course you can listen to us on Apple Podcast and Spotify, so keep that in mind. Also, if you happen to have a question here this morning, feel free to pop it in here. We'll get to that toward the end of the show or whenever Mackie starts jumping up and down and saying you have a question. I do want to mention to you, the El Patron out of Long Beach Sportfishing has room, and they are definite go for both Thursday and Friday out of Long Beach Sportfishing. The El Patron is a great rig with a great crew, and fishing is picking up. You can book with them by going to www.longbeachsportfishing.org. And also the Island Spirit is going tomorrow out of Ventura Sport Fishing. Daniel Hadaway does such a great job. We love fishing with Daniel. And if you get up to Ventura and you go out on that rig, you're going to feel the magic that we all feel with that great crew and the great fishing out of Ventura Sport Fishing. 805-676-3474. Get on the Island Spirit. All right, let's talk south of the border first of all, and we'll talk down there in the Bay of LA where we have seen some really exceptional fishing going on and a myriad of different species. I mean, you've got all kinds of cabrilla, you've got good yellowtail action. Dorado started to bite for Abdul Ryan and his party down there. Really fabulous fishing. If you want to catch those deep water baquetas, they're available also. It has been fantastic. And that bite is continuing in those pristine, gorgeous, calm seas. It's such a lovely environment. I know you would enjoy doing that. So keep that in mind. Here in the Ensenada area, man, on a live show, I'm going to choke to death. Here in the Ensenada area, 70 miles down below the border, we continue to see really great fishing going on. Now, it's not every single day that they crank on the bluefin tuna, but on a regular basis, with greater consistency every day, they are catching fish. To the north of here are those great big 200-pounders. So if you wanted to go up there and you had the tackle to do it, you could go up there with the Mad Mac lures or sinker rig fish for those big fish. I'm talking 200-plus pound bluefin tuna. To the south of here, you find mostly, I want to say 18 to 60-pound bluefin tuna. The majority of the fish here in Ensenada are being taken on trolled Mad Max, but occasionally you'll get them on a casted lure, and I'm talking, like 120-gram kind of lure, Colt Sniper, Diwasakana, something like that works really good. Don't throw those things with anything less than 60-pound, because every once in a while you'll hang a 100-pounder on that, and then you will be screwed if you're fishing really light lines. So you want to fish heavy anytime you are throwing a jig. It's a reaction bite They're going to bite the heavy, so fish the heavy and give yourself an advantage on those fish. Now, also mixed in here, and we saw it down in the fish market this morning, we saw some incredible bonitos. They're giant, man. They're like 8 to 10 pounds. Big, beautiful bonita. There's some jurel, yellowtail, wandering around here, calico and sand bass. And of course, tonight on our live show at 7 p.m., we're going to be able to give you a better idea of what is going on with this local bite. So we'll see if we can get some sand and calico bass. Excuse me, everybody. And hopefully a big white sea bass. That would be something if we could pull something off like that. See if Paulina can pull a rabbit out of the hat. And Folk is a great captain. So it should be just a lovely afternoon. By the way, the weather here in Ensenada, sun is already peeking out. The cloudiness is burning off already. And from tomorrow for the next week, you're looking at 80-degree air temperatures here in Ensenada. So it is summertime in Ensenada. There's already here this morning a ton of people walking up and down the Malecón as a cruise ship has just arrived. Really good fishing, beautiful weather down here. Great time for you to come down and enjoy it. I'll remind you all also tonight, Pauline and I will also talk about a September, October trip that we are planning here in Ensenada. We're going to take you across the border with us. So if you're, apprehensive about coming down to Mexico, Mackie, myself, some other folks will be at the border. We'll caravan down to Ensenada, and then we'll bring you right here to where I'm sitting so we can go fishing one day and then have a fiesta another day and do some shopping. If you want to go out to the wine country, we'll be able to arrange all of that. And those details, we're firming that all up. The reason we're down here in Ensenada is to firm that all up with Paulina. So we'll have that. Also going to do a surf fishing meet and greet situation or event with Paulina up in Orange County here in the very near future. Hopefully I'll be able to announce that to you tonight on our live show. Remember, around 7 o'clock, depends upon when we get in and how I am able to cook up the food for you. All right, now, not for you, for everybody that's going to be here. Let's talk bluefin tuna. Last night, really exceptional bluefin tuna fishing for so many boats. Again, as I like to point out to you, you could probably find a boat that didn't get them last night. You can find a boat with the most exceptional fishing that you've ever seen. But we try to kind of give you the average, and the average was excellent fishing with over a fish per rod. Really good fishing on those smaller profile jigs. Those seem to be working best of all. Those West Coast Jigger 350 HDs have been super effective. Daiwa SK jigs also super effective. But that 350 gram seems to be about right now. Now, that is not to say that you can't get bit on a 180 gram jig or a 400 gram jig, but the vast majority of the fish are on those smaller profile jigs. And man, it was good last night. Highliner, 36 bluefin tuna. I talked to Max. He said it was darn good fishing last night on the Highliners. The Highliner just continues to crank good numbers and provide excellent customer service. Really impressed with them. Brian Pfeiffer, I just talked to Brian. He runs the Independence. Finest long-range boat you'll ever step foot on. I love that rig. And he said, pretty darn good fishing on 40 to 60-pound bluefin tuna for us last night. So Independence doing their usual fine work out of Point Loma Sport Fishing. The Tribute, they had somewhere around 20 fish and several other boats. Some guys with limits on the fish, some guys with extraordinarily good fishing. A lot of that 40 to 60-pound stuff, some a little smaller, and some up over the 100-pound mark. But we seem to be seeing a little bit less of that grade of fish and more of that 40 to 60-pound bluefin tuna right now. Outstanding bluefin tuna fishing. Pretty good weather right now, and it just seems to be continuing as we go along. All right. Taking a look now at the island situation. We've already heard from the Thunderbird this morning out of Davies Locker in Newport Beach, and they are putting the wood to the yellows. In fact, the thumbnail, the cover shot of the morning briefing, you can see deckhand Jose, who happens to be an extraordinarily great guy. Jose, hope you're doing well, my friend. He's holding up a nice big forky there, nice big yellows. Some of that yellowtail at San Clemente Island, some of it has even been out on Tanner and Cortez Bank. There's been some at Santa Barbara Island, kind of bouncing around. But Clemente's been pretty good. Dropper loop fishing in the morning hours has been super effective, and that's where you can get away with 60-pound if you want to fish it in a great big hook. And then in the daytime, you're going to transition to a fly line bait with 25-pound fluorocarbon GT4 from ProMarahi.com. Put in FA at checkout for a 10% discount, and you'll be in there. But that's been working really well. Fly line, bait, and also there's been a few surface ironfish and a few yo-yo ironfish. The Amigo into the fish out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California. I believe they have a few more openings for Saturday night on a overnight trip. You'd be wise to jump on that. 310-832-8304. The Amigo, one of my favorite boats. We have a trip in October with them, and I can't wait to do that. Up there, as we take a look at Santa Barbara, I mentioned there's been some sea bass and yellows in that neck of the woods, some halibut, and then the Channel Island area. We're starting to see that sea bass bite go off up there. Gray light, 6 guys, 18 white sea bass. The limit now is 3 white sea bass per rod, and they flat found a school that wanted to bite. There has been no lack of fish up there. We continue to see tremendous amounts of white sea bass in the Channel Islands. And is that light switch finally going to stay up? We've seen this. Mirage had 10 fish yesterday. Other boats getting in on it. That light switch goes up and then it comes right back down again. I get the feeling that it's up now and it's going to continue to bite. And hopefully that is going to be the case as we watch the Channel Islands very closely for you all. In the Channel Islands, we were talking about the Island Spirit out of Ventura. Some of those local guys now starting to transition into calico bass, sand bass, more barracuda, a few halibut. Of course, the rockfish are always present up there. You can catch big lings and reds and rockfish, but we're starting to kind of transition into the summertime or springtime bite, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this thing is ready to rock and roll. Excuse me. So, things are looking good on the islands. We are really high on how that is going. Incidentally, if you'd like to join us on our last 2 trips of the year, and we're almost sold out, but we have a September trip on the Apollo, then we have a September trip here in Ensenada, and then we also have our El Patron trip coming up on June the 24th. Mackie just reminded me about that. I think that's what you're talking about, right? Oh, is it Monday?
Yeah.
Oh, Monday, June 24th. Everybody, you can join us on the El Patron, and that's a special trip because we're going to leave at 5 a.m., but we're not going to come back till 7:30 in the evening. Last time I checked, there was a few spots available on that trip. June the 24th, 11 spots left on that trip. So if you want to join us, go to www.longbeachsportfishing.org and sign up today and join us because it's a long trip where we have a lot of opportunities. We could end up at Santa Barbara Island. We could end up at Catalina. There's a lot of different options available when you add that extra 2.5 hours onto our trip. Monday, June the 24th, that is sneaking up on us pretty quick, so join us on that great trip. So islands looking pretty good. As we look up and down the coast down there in San Diego, we continue to see some really good calico bass fishing for the 1/2 and 3/4 day boats, occasional yellowtail and white sea bass down there. Also, that's been pretty darn good. And then we get up Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. They're picking at the bass and they're catching some sculpin and whitefish and rockfish, starting to move slowly but surely to more bass, seeing some barracuda, but a lot of sculpin and whitefish. Monte Carlo yesterday had really good sculpin fishing out of 22nd Street Landing. Several other boats up and down the coast, similar kinds of scores. We already kind of talked about the Channel Islands, and inside there, they're starting to see more sand bass and barracuda. The water off of the LA area has been off color and cold. But as I mentioned, veteran angler Fred, who fishes on the Monte Carlo, told me the other day, Phil, not only is that water cleaning up, but it was 66 degrees in some spots. That spells a barracuda bite, sand bass, calico bass. That is all good, folks. That is looking really, really good. So fingers crossed that it's going to bite here very soon. Tomorrow, Michael Limon and Dan Lightwood are going to be on board the Pursuit out of 22nd Street Landing. So we'll get a report from those boys. And, of course, we always wish Michael the very, very best. Hope he has a really great trip. So that should be good. So a lot of sculpin whitefish and that kind of stuff, but starting to see the bass starting to turn on. I think we're going to see some big-time barracuda action here very soon out there. I hope we see it this afternoon out of Botes Juanitos here in beautiful Ensenada. In the surf, we continue to see a few stripers caught down by the San Diego area. Less and less barb perch as the water temps warm up, and more corvina starting to show up. A few halibut being taken in the surf also, and spot fin and yellowfin croaker. Really good there especially around Surfside and Huntington Beach and even up in the Santa Monica Bay. We've seen some really good yellowfin croaker fishing. The spotfin croaker are going to be taking on bait. They rarely bite artificials. Every once in a while, you'll get one on an artificial, but most of the time, it is going to be on the bait. All right, my friends, I don't know what to tell you. It's a really beautiful day here in Ensenada. Mackie and I are enjoying how beautiful it is. It truly is gorgeous. And remember, tonight at 7 p.m., Paulina and I will have another live show where we'll talk a little bit more about our September, October trips, guided trips down here to Ensenada, where you can come down and go fishing, and we will make sure you are safe and secure throughout the entire trip. Paulina and I and Mackie will be there to guide you through it step by step. The goal here, by the way, is to make it so the next time you come down here, you can do it by yourself. Or maybe you'll need a couple of trips. But, you know, if you want to come down here and drive down by yourself and you're apprehensive about doing it, we get that, and we will help you through the process and show you exactly how to take care of everything you'll need to take care of to be safe and sound here in Mexico. All right, Mackie and I are going fishing this afternoon. It's truly great to be with you all. And, of course, I'll see you just a little bit later here tonight at 7 p.m. I'll be cooking for Paulina and her mom and her aunt, Foca, and the rest of the great crew here at Botes Juanitos for Mackie, and we should have a great afternoon fishing. It's a beautiful day. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one, and I hope to see you really, really soon. Take care.